Well, hello there, tasty little things. Hello, guys. Welcome to today's day, which is day 25 and day 2 of Open Heart 20 Instagram. Guys, thank you very much for leaving those likes on yesterday's video. Yesterday's post over on Instagram. If you guys are new, don't forget I'm Blut084, BLUT 084 art and games, and I'm going to be doing some more artwork today for day 25 and day 2 of Open Heart 2020. Again, thank you very much for going over there. But today is Inktober day 25 and the word is tasty. Now, I don't know if I want to continue on with a theme that I was going from yesterday, because yesterday was because it was Open Heart. I thought the word was dizzy, and I thought I'd a bit of a doc sort of putting you gassed under and making you dizzy. But I don't think people actually got that idea that I was trying going for. But hopefully you will sort of gather up the idea what I'm doing for. Color's a bit strange today. Do apologize for that. That is because the outside light is horrible. I've had to close my curtains. It's raining and horrible and looking absolutely not very good outside. So I've turned me up above lights on. So yeah, they like hazy colored today. I do apologize for that, but hopefully you can still see everything you should do. You can definitely see my shadows. But yeah, the word today is tasty, and I don't know where to go from. So let's give you a quick look again on what I've done. Well, I'm not going to tell you anything about these pictures. You need to go and check them out on the playlist. That day 1 was ring, 2 was mindless, day 3 was bait, day 4 was freeze, day 5 was build. Go and check that out on Instagram. Not Instagram. Go and check that out on over on Mixer. It is uploaded. Day 6 was husky. Day 7 was that one. Day frail. Day 8 was frail. Day 9 was swing, my favorite picture of so far. I'm doing it again. Day 10 was pattern, and if you know what that pattern is, let me know in the comment section. And then there was day 11, which was snow, and I did a abominable snowman. And then on, you can guess what word was today. Day 12 was dragon, and then day 13 was ash, and that's the end scene from God of War. Then we get on to day 14, which is overgrown and a Maleficent sort of drawing with the thorns that I was drawing at. And day 15 was legend, and that's I Am Legend case cover. And then there was day 16, which was wild. Really enjoyed doing that one. I did a little bit more for you on Instagram. And then there was day 17, which was ornament. I didn't want to do a Christmas one, so I did that instead. Got something off my shelf. And then day 18 was misfit, and that's Dennis Menace, the Beano version, not the American version. And then keeping on with that theme with the misfit, the word was sling. So that was day 19. Day 20. We get on Sunday, nice chilled out Sunday. I did a nice beach scene, and the word was tread, and I put the 3 treads in the sand of my 2 favorite people walking beside me. And then we had day something else. I've lost what day it is. 8, 19, 20, 21 was, what was it? Treasure. And I didn't want to do a treasure chest. I was going to do a treasure chest, but I changed my mind at the last minute and did a leprechaun with top of his treasure hiding at the end of the rainbow. You can still let me know what you think this other imp here is doing and what this fairy is telling him to do. You can kind of decide. I kind of got an idea what they're doing, but it really was just like, I'll draw that and that looks good. And then we got to day, oh my god, what day? I've forgotten to put the numbers on the back again. This word was ghost, and it's the Ghost Rider, and it was for day 21 to 22. I really enjoyed doing that one as well. Again, it was a reference picture. You will find me using reference pictures, and I've had a look at other people that do draw online, and they do reference pictures as well, so I'm not feeling so bad about using reference pictures. Yeah, what I've learned is that if you can draw something you can see, then you can draw something fairly well. Without a reference, I'm pretty crap. So I tend to keep some sort of reference, and this one here was day 23, and the word was, I've forgotten what it was. It was ancient, and that's Nosferatu, the Vampire King. Then again, we get to day 1 and day 24 of Inktober, which was again, the word was dizzy, and this here is meant to make you dizzy, and the doctor is the one thing. And then as it's because open heart, I give you a little bit of explanation of what this picture actually, what this picture actually means. What this picture means to me, as I've had open heart surgery and had a piece of pig put inside me. I explained to you all about that. And I don't eat bacon anymore. Well, I know I eat bacon, but I don't eat pork that much anymore. But today's word is tasty. So, shall I draw a pig? Shall I draw a zombie eating me in the thing? Because I've got two ideas. Two ideas that I've been mulling over since yesterday, basically. I was thinking, should I do a tasty pig with me getting ready to have the heart put in, or should I have me with a load of zombies coming in to chow down? I don't know. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section. I'm going to give you a couple of seconds while I have a slurp of tea, because I can't decide. So it would be really helpful if you guys pitched in and let your ideas flow through. We are going to be listening to another zombie picture. We are going to be listening to the continuation of yesterday's zombie. Again, guys, it is probably an 18 sort of thing we're going to be listening to, because it did get a bit not racy, but it did get a bit like getting into the ins and outs of people's habits as they are older. You know, when one person likes another person, things happen, and that's kind of what we was talking about in yesterday's. I wasn't the actual audio that we listened to. It's a zombie story, and it's the unfortunate ones or something like that. Let's have a look quick what it's called. The Unlucky Few is what it's called. If you guys want to go check it out, again, it's probably 18 plus for the references in the audiobook. So if you are easily offended or easily anything really, it's probably a good idea to turn the volume down and just watch what I'm drawing. Or if you just want to turn your watching back, hey, skip to the end, see what I've drawn. And don't forget, at the end, afterwards, after the stream's finished, I will be putting another a load of links towards where you can go and check out all the other stuff. If you guys do find, again, get to the point of this stream and you think, oh no, this is a bit too much for me, then definitely go and check out the Creation Station playlist, or all of the Inktober that's been up to so far, because we are on day 25. So let's get that drawing, get starting, and let's get the stuff that I use. I've got my pencil case of absolutely hundreds of pens, all running out, of course. These are the few that I've been using. I have used odd color on here and there as I've gone along, but what I normally draw with is my Uniball 7.8. I really want to give myself some thinner ones and fatter ones of these, purely because I used to have a load of really good different size ones, and it sort of really helps. You don't want to use a fat pen like so. You don't want to use a Matigate Sharpie, because what happens is you've got such a thick line, you've really got to sort of be careful with that. Pen shuck. And then you've got, again, that's the same there, 7.0. And we've got my felt tips, which I use for shading. They're really starting to run out now, so it's kind of I think in one of the streams I'm going to see how many pens I actually got that works and see how many I can blend together. But yeah, these are all the black pens that I've been using. I do occasionally grab one from this pack here. A lot of these are running out, so it sort of shows that the more you use them, the quicker they run out. They weren't very good to begin with, so they put up for as long as they could. And yeah, we're going to be getting on with that drawing today, listening to that playlist. So I'm about to start that now. So again, if you do need to turn your volume down, it'd probably be a good idea to turn your volume down now. If you're not turning your volume down, then enjoy the audiobook and enjoy today's drawing. The word again is tasty. I don't know what I'm going to be drawing, so I'm going to completely go off on a tangent, take all four different references that I've been sort of mulling over, taking ideas from, and seeing what I can create.
Was caught on to my line of reasoning in his Soiled brown, road-weary eyes widened. Madre de Dios, he whispers, pinching at his chin worryingly. Did you make sure that none of them followed you back to us? Journey scowls at that, hard, as if he's insulted that we didn't automatically assume that he was more than capable of averting any possible threat. But we had good reason to both be worried and double-check his words. The infected were persistent as all hell once they'd smelled or heard or saw you. Crazies don't get enough credit for their tracking skills. If you thought that the slow ones were master predators, especially during the lingering hours of the night, then you probably haven't ever taken the time to observe a crazy and carnage-seeking action. The infection, on top of transforming the human body into a psychological death machine, flips some kind of primitive instinct inside of a person to hunt and track. It's not uncommon to stumble upon a crazy with their nose pointed high in the air or hovering carefully over the ground. They may be rabid, but they're not stupid. Are you serious? Journey asks me venomously. His shoulders are shaking slightly as he shakes his head at me. You thought I'd ever risk inviting a mess of those things here? Well, I don't know, Journey. You tell me. I stand up straighter and point at his chest with a stiff index finger as I scoff. You're the one who has a habit of playing solo when you should be here planning with the rest of the group. I always do what's best for the rest of you. He slowly turns his combative eyes on Saulo and Esperanza, who's lifted her head and twists her neck from one of us to the other. And last I checked, you weren't my pita, so back off, Jay. You've got a bad habit of nagging about everything that I do all the time. Because I know that you don't go out on patrol all alone thinking about the rest of us. I take a step forward and challenge Journey with my eyes. They're straining from the emotions that I can feel churning in my gut. My face is hot too. Bit by bit, I'm getting closer to planting a kiss on one of those cheeks of his with one of my fists. I can see Saulo warily lifting one of his hands in my peripheral vision. Chicos, he says, trying to lure us into some kind of peace. But I'm not having it. Someone who took even a minute to think about the people that he was leaving behind wouldn't forget to bring someone else along with him. Or, I don't know, tell anyone else that he was going out sneaking around in the middle of the night with a whole city of murderous psychos on the prowl? Am I serious? I can't believe that you're serious. Journey's nostrils flare as he takes a step forward himself. Before I know it, we're practically eye to eye and touching noses, and it's hard for me not to scream in his face. Journey smirks. So what? You want me to start taking you out with me whenever I want a little more information on wherever the fuck we are? You've been with us less than 2 months, and you're already trying to tell me how I do things for these people? I'm the leader here, Blue Jay. And my way, regardless of how I decide to do it, is what's going to keep everybody sane and breathing in this hotel alive. Esperanza starts to nervously scoot back into the couch as she hugs her knees. But Saulo growls and snaps for her to take a hike. Esperanza, va con tu madre, ahora. We all watch as the girl bounces from off the couch and scurries towards her mother, who's thankfully still napping amidst the ensuing testosterone-fueled emotional chaos. But Saulo takes center stage next, stepping forward and firmly pressing on both of our chests, separating us. I'm not even looking into his eyes as he speaks. He's a bit shorter than both Journey and myself, and I want to maintain the intensity that I'm projecting into Journey's soul, but I can hear the frustration and disappointment in his voice. All of a sudden, I feel like a little kid again. being forced to quell a silly dispute with another hot-headed middle school classmate. ¿Qué pasa con ustedes? Have you lost your minds? His hand is trembling on my chest as he holds us apart. What you're doing right now is exactly what's going to get mi esposa and mi hija killed. And I'll do anything, to make sure that doesn't happen. Which includes busting someone's skull open if I had to. So take a breath, step back, calm down. He sighs, a drawn-out huff, and steadily lowers both of his hands. We're supposed to be men here, not animals. He glares at Journey and bites down on his teeth. Not like those things that you said found that other group. Bless their souls. But you see them? He points behind us towards the bodies of his snoozing wife and little girl. They're more important than anything else right now. So relax, hombres. Relax. For the second time in a night, I'm told to calm down. To not argue with Journey. But that's difficult when he thinks that his imaginary sheriff's badge determines the life and times of 5 other people. I couldn't tell you if his heart was in the right place, even though I want it to be. But he needs to be challenged. He needs to know that he doesn't have to do everything himself. He needs to know that he can trust us all to help him. And he needs to know that we, just like all of those irritating crazies waiting outside, aren't fucking stupid. You need to listen to me, I tell Journey as I lift both of my hands in a truce. You don't, and I guarantee you some of these people are going to die before they're supposed to. Journey lifts his chin and straightens the front of his t-shirt while sporting a wicked smile. Who says that I'm not hoping you don't? I really have to restrain myself after that little remark. And when I say really, I mean really.
I'm
I
kind of giving
imagine
up again, guys.
hammering my feet into the floor of the suite. That just barely does
Drawing
the
like
trick.
a fucking 6-year-old.
Calmate, calmate, Saulo warns as he cracks his knuckles. Gracias a Dios, we can talk like men now. Yeah? I ask, raising an eyebrow at him. Saulo's normally colorless face looks like it was just being baked. Blotches of strawberry red appear and disappear just underneath his cheekbones as he runs a hand through his short red hair again and takes a deep breath. We'll see how long that lasts, I continue while scowling at Journey. He's massaging one of his biceps as he stares into my face. Harmony was supposed to be the word for the rest of the night, remember? Journey nods slowly as he rolls his tongue over his front teeth. Yeah. We stand quiet in our pacified triangle, reflecting on the words that were just hurled from one man to the next.
Bullshit.
Eventually, Journey sniffs and reaches up to rub one of his eyebrows. It still is, or at least it'll have to be. Our feelings don't change the fact that I still came across another group of people tonight before they were torn apart by a mob of crazies. And that means that everything I said before still needs to happen. We need to leave LA. Soon. And by soon, I mean tomorrow morning. Saulo looks slightly confused, but Journey only nods at me and frowns. Maybe you should be more thankful that I went out alone tonight. If I hadn't, we would have never known about the flock. Saulo lifts a hand to his lips and looks down at the floor in thought. But you said that nothing followed you back here. Why do you want us to leave in the morning? We just got here, and Rosa, she needs... No, that's not what I said, Journey answers. I only expressed my distaste at fuckface here for thinking that I'd be sloppy enough to not cover my tracks. You're wrong. I'm positive that nothing came back with me, but That flock wasn't more than a mile and a half away from the boulevard, and they were excited. He bites down on his bottom lip again and squints into a corner of the room. After they're finished with their fresh batch of livestock, where do you think they're going to go? And what do you think they're going to do once they get there? I'll give you the answer. Sniff us out and have some fun with all of our corpses, that's what. Journey's a stuck-up piece of dog shit sometimes, but he's right. The crazies he found wouldn't ordinarily be a problem, but after a night of slaughtering, you could never tell just what they're bound to do. Killing's the greatest drug in the world for them. And once they've had a taste, they'll look incessantly for their next fix until their high comes crashing down. I take a moment to collect my thoughts. Not being 100% sure that nothing followed you back doesn't help, I say as I take a few steps over to the couch and plop down onto its semi-firm cushions. A noise that resembles a muffled fart escapes the furniture as I settle down into it. I rub my dry hands together and my brow wrinkles as I think. I heard once that crazies can work together after a kill, motivated by their exhilaration to hunt down anything else that could satisfy their messed up cravings. If they band together after they're finished tonight and decide to search through the boulevard come morning, then we're fucked. Plain and simple. I look up and nod at Journey. When you're right, you're right. Leaving just might be the safest thing for us to do right now. He's giving me a scornful look that's clearly telling me he knows. Prick. And the other group? Saulo asks. How much time will those locals spend with those other souls? Journey shrugs. No idea. They could butcher everyone within the hour and then move right along. But what's more realistic, I pipe in, is that they spend the rest of the night playing around with their newly discovered prey. Those poor people. Saulo, you couldn't even imagine what they're about to go through. Saulo's face drops as he covers his mouth. And if they have niños, querido Dios. Another silence. My head is suddenly filled with images of wailing children being pulled apart by their arms and legs. But Rosa, Saulo adds, she was having enough trouble traveling before we stopped here. She can't take another long walk. She just can't. Journey covers his mouth in thought before he settles his gaze on me. I was actually thinking about that on the way back. If we're going to leave, then we had to travel with the intention of finding somewhere to stay. For Rosa and Esperanza's sake, I have a brother who lives in Northern California, away from all of the big cities and surrounded by woodland. It's higher above the sea, so it gets pretty cold sometimes, but isn't that the best weapon against the crazies and the dead? I can't say that I'm not intrigued. The weather? He asks. Exactly, Journey says. Wait. So you want us to travel up through the state to go live with your brother? Does he live alone? All alone, Journey says. He never married. He stays on a horse farm. There are a million questions racing through my mind, but I'm going to ask the one that sounds most important at the moment. And why haven't you told us this before? Has he told you this before? I ask Saulo, who shakes his head at me in denial. Yeah, like we're close enough to share all of our family secrets, Journey scoffs. He turns to glance at Rosa and Esperanza once more before his face grows serious. I've I've actually been thinking about traveling there for some time, to be honest, even before bedding down here. I was hoping for Rosa to deliver and have a chance to heal before we eventually moved up there, but it's looking like we don't have a choice anymore. He smirks to himself and shakes his head. And it all had to pay off, too. I mean, to be honest, I haven't seen my brother in years. That's why I've never said anything before. I have no idea if he's still alive. The room grows cold. The shadows around us threaten to swallow everything as Saulo and I glance at one another nervously. We both instantly realize that what Journey is proposing isn't an escape from our nightmare, but a giant risk. You don't know if he's alive? I say. Journey nods, slowly, thoughtfully, as if he's still processing the worthiness of the option. Yeah, that's right. But you want us to travel to his farm, all the way up in northern Cali. He sighs. Look, I know it sounds crazy. I know. But if we make it up there, that could be a permanent spot for us. A home. A place that we would never have to leave. Think about it. It's surrounded by iron gates and stacked with supplies for any rough winters up there, and my brother has horses. A mode of transportation that wouldn't ever need oil or gas or a tune-up. It's perfect. I rub my smooth chin and close my eyes for a moment. I'm picturing it. And the more I do, the more that horse farm sounds like paradise. These people have been skipping from one spot to the next, healing their bodies and fragile minds as best they can before setting out again and again in this uncertain world. And with Rosa carrying a child, it would be the perfect place to raise him. Not that I care too much. I squeeze my eyes together and shake my head as I remind myself that we're all dead folks, cursed to perish by the hands of the ravenous dead or an uncontrollably psychotic mind. But a horse farm, something that I'm seeing as clear as day in my mind's eye, that could be a refuge, separate us from the rest of the world as we know it. I open my eyes and look back up into Journey's, which twinkle from a few reflections of candlelight around me. What do you think, Saulo? I ask. It is a big if. Saulo sighs and hangs his head. He scratches one of his cheeks before pursing his cracked lips. It's just a shame that it took Rosa's pregnancy to make us seriously consider this, he says. And Journey nods. I agree, but now's the best time to do it, and think of it this way. Even if my brother's gone, we could still occupy the farm, tend it ourselves. I know my way around a horse or two, and I could train all of you for it too. But what if it was overrun? I add. What if your squeaky clean memory of that place doesn't exist anymore? Journey's silent for a moment, staring into my eyes with all of the focus of a hawk. Then at least we'll have tried to escape the lives that we're living now, he says. Saulo hums to himself, and by the look on his face, I can tell that he's thinking hard. I have a strong feeling that he's convincing himself that the possibility of that farm just might be too good to pass up. He's a man who's only going to think of what's best for his family. That much I know for sure. Journey and I observe him for a few moments more. I can tell that Journey's threatening to explode inside. The tension is intense. He needs Saulo's vote or else he and his family are going nowhere. I don't need to be a master tactician to know that Journey feels that such a long trek would be best made with other people. It's an occasional weakness among leaders. They perform at their best when they have other people to control, but without that, they crumble under the weight of their own solitude. But he gets what he wants. After a few seconds of clearing his throat, Saulo steps forward and lays both of his hands on Journey's narrow shoulders. He looks him in the eyes, and I can practically feel the desperation in his gaze. "Para mi familia," he says aloud. "I'll trust you with this journey. We'll travel to your horse farm, only because it's what's best for mi familia." "It will be," Journey says. "No, it has to be," Saulo responds matter-of-factly. The serious tone in his voice makes the air stop circulating around us. I only nod my head and frown. He's right. If we're going to be moving at such a drastic distance, we have to make it work. "So that's that," I say. "We're off to your horse farm in the morning." "No," Journey says with a quick shake of his head. "Honestly, part of me doesn't think that we even have that long. That flock was bustling with anticipation around those survivors. We have to assume that they'll make quick work of them and then start to roam about. They won't sleep tonight after all the fun they're going to have." "Stop calling it that," Saulo remarks in disgust. He makes the sign of the cross and steps over to sit next to me on the couch. His weight makes me rock for a second before the cushions settle. "Why not?" Journey asks, leaning onto one of his hips. "That's what it is to them." "But it's not to us," Saulo snarls. His face drops in sadness. "There's never any fun in killing innocent people. God is weeping right now." I tilt my head to the side sympathetically before I speak.
God existed. Why would something like this
All due
happen?
respect, Saulo,
Really, honestly.
but I don't think the big man cares all that much.
The test for the human
Of
race.
course he does,
That's what the religious people say.
Saulo snaps
It's a
back.
big test.
Even if he's absent from our lives, he's always watching. And as much as we don't like it, there's always a reason for our suffering. El bueno señor always has a plan. "Sure, Saulo," I say. "But I'll dare you to say all that once you've been infected by a little bit of crazy juice in your eye." I stare at him and frown. Because if that ever happens, I can guarantee you that God will be the furthest thing from your mind. Journey takes a deep breath and shakes his head. Rosa makes a sound in her sleep, which makes Saulo sit up abruptly to make sure that she's okay. I do the same and notice that her forehead is covered in sweat. Her brow is wrinkled as she moans again and stirs to the side. Esperanza, standing closely by her side, reaches out to stroke one of her flushed cheeks. "So we're leaving tonight?" I ask. Journey's face isn't completely confident as he nods his head in answer. "That's the plan." "Well," I say, "I don't really have a problem with that plan, but I'm almost positive your plan is a problem with us." I raise my eyebrows at Saulo and lift 3 fingers in front of my face. 3 things. I drop my index finger and sniff. 1, we'll be moving around in the middle of the night. Journey crosses his arms and nods. "I found a route while I was out there that we can use through the city once we're ready to go." "Okay," I say, slightly impressed. 2, I drop my middle finger. "We'll need supplies. I don't think we'll have trouble finding spots to sack on our way up the city, but just in case, we need more food and clean water." All right, Journey says, nodding understandably. And last? Well, I sigh, dropping my ring finger. We're going to be moving with her, I say while pointing at Rosa. And that's where your plan starts sounding kind of impossible. No, Journey says with a slight hug. It's not impossible. Points 2 and 3 are going to be solved within the next few hours at a Mighty Mart down the boulevard. I saw it on the way back here. It's still lit inside, but dark enough so that we'd be able to move through it stealthily. He nods at Rosa. Mighty Marts have everything. And if this one hasn't been picked to the bone, then we can find... I interrupt him after realizing where he's going with his plan. We can find exactly what we need, I say while looking down at the floor. It might still have a stocked gun rack, or at the very least an assortment of blades to consider food, water, medicine. I can't help but smile at Saulo as he leans backward and covers his mouth. I grab his wrist and shake it happily. There'll be a pharmacy there, Saulo. We could find some painkillers for Rosa and some medicine for all of us while we travel. Dios mío, Saulo whispers. He wipes at his eyes with the back of a hand and enthusiastically nods his head multiple times with a smile. It's the most relieved I've seen him in weeks. How far away is it? Half a mile, maybe, Journey says with a shrug. But probably not even that. If we move quick, we can get there, get in, get out, come back, and leave fast enough to forget all about those crazies behind us. There's going to be an abundance of shopping carts there, I say while pinching my chin. We could use a few to carry extra supplies in, or even have Rosa sit in after we're ready to go. That's exactly what I was thinking, Journey agrees. But we have to move now. He lifts his chin towards Lima down the hall. I'll go and brief Lima, tell him to get his mind ready to leave when we come back. And Jay, I don't think I have to explain why you're coming with me. You don't, I say with a smirk. Because we all know that you'll need someone sensible in case you start wanting to deviate from the plan. Right, Journey says dryly. He frowns at Saulo while pointing backwards at Rosa. You're staying here, Saulo. Saulo opens his mouth to object, but Journey gives him an open palm and closes his eyes definitively. You're not convincing me otherwise, I'm sorry. With Lima on watch and Rosa in the condition she's in, you'll need to be here with Esperanza in case something happens to her. You mean that he'll be here alone? A squeaky voice adds from behind him. Journey spins around, and we all raise our eyebrows as Esperanza, with her hands clasped behind her back and a determined expression on her face, slowly walks forward to stand in the middle of our huddle. I'm going with you to the Mighty Mart, she says simply, and Saulo's face instantly takes on a look of disapproval. Raising an eyebrow, I lean back into the couch and cross my arms. Esperanza's mouth is set into a stubborn horizontal line. Her eyes glare into her father's. It'd be easy to think that she was suddenly the bravest person in the room, or the dumbest.
Well, this is what I've been seeing, the references and the images, I think. Can you see what I'm trying to draw here? It's a little bit of a continuation of yesterday's drawing.
Probably trying to talk herself out of doing what she just ordered. And, as one would guess, Saulo doesn't waste a moment to shoot her idea right down into the mud. He bares his teeth as he stands and marches right on over to her, grabbing onto her shoulders and shaking her lightly. He spins her around and points at the still slumbering form of his sweating wife. I want you to think about what you just said, he says as he takes a quick knee and places a hand on the back of her head. He forces Esperanza to look at her mother as he speaks. Why, you look at tu madre. You see her suffering, hija? There's nothing else in the whole world that would break my heart than to see you in pain like that. Look at her, hija. Look at what she's going through right now in this world, and tell me that you want that for yourself. I steal a glance over at Journey, who's crossed his arms as well and looks on impassively. Esperanza has her hands held tightly together behind her back, and I watch as her shoulders begin to tremble as she continues to stare at her mother. Papi, No, hija. Saulo interrupts as he slowly turns Esperanza to face him. He's knelt so low that he has to look up at his little girl, and he lightly brushes a few stray strands of her raven black hair out of her face as his frown intensifies. He looks as if he's struggling not to cry. There is no papi anymore if you're caught unawares up there. Can you look at Jay and Journey and guarantee that they'll be able to protect you? Esperanza continues to look into her father's eyes, and I can see her newfound confidence wavering. The man's putting all kinds of doubt into her head, which is making her uncertain. And as emotionally taxing as I'm sure this is on the pair, I can't help but look on, intrigued and silent. Esperanza isn't going to be a little girl forever. She's going to be a woman someday, faster than any of us could help. Hell, in a world like this, I'm surprised that she hasn't become one already. You and your mother mean more to me than anything else, hija, Saulo says. He strokes her cheek lovingly as his jaw trembles. Do you remember what I used to call you when you started playing soccer? Esperanza nods, her eyes heavy and nearly closed. Say it for me, mi amor. Esperanza nods a bit slower this time, and then parts her lips to let out a single word, delivered almost in a whisper. Estrella. Saulo's entire face morphs into a picture of elation, and he pinches the end of Esperanza's chin as he nods. That's right, hija. Estrella. Because you were my little star on the soccer field. You're still my star. He swallows before grabbing onto her shoulders again and squeezing lightly. And I want you to stay that way. Never forget, the best way for you to shine is to stay close a Dios y tu familia. Mi hermosa estrella. Never forget that. Ever. Journey softly clears his throat and lets his arms drift to his sides. Saulo, he starts gently.
Yeah, I'm going to stop there, guys. I can't see anything else I want to put in there. I don't want to put loads of detail in. Already kind of lost love for this one. So I'm going to stop.
Saulo says.
Stop picture here and call it done, I think. Give you a quick zoom in and what the scene is actually showing. Hopefully you can make it out. But if you see there, that's the doctor from yesterday who was going to give me dizziness. But this one, he's serving me up to his loving children, as you can see. And they're taking their fill from the inside of my cavity of my heart chest. And over here, we have his little helper dude. I'm going to call him like a hunchback of some sort. Maybe Igor. He's got the pig heart ready for implantation. Not obviously what happened, but kind of a horrible story of what could happen if a zombie apocalypse and an evil doctor wishes to experiment. Putting in a pig heart into a person. If you have enjoyed this one, guys, and you're enjoying the story, definitely leave a like. And don't forget to head over to Instagram to leave a like on that stream where you guys can support me, because I've got I'm trying to get as many likes as possible over on that Instagram post, so I'll actually get picked out and posted on the Open Heart 2020 challenge, which is over on Instagram, guys, which is all to do with Inktober. It is a little challenge for the next 2 days, or yesterday, today, and tomorrow's those 3 days where you get picked. So the more likes I have, the more chance I have of winning. They say the quality of art, but I'm not being funny. But I've looked on some of the artwork that they put there, and some of them are just squiggles on a line. It's an artist sort of fixation, but I couldn't really see the theme that they were trying to go for. But hey ho, they probably had 100 likes, and that's probably what they picked out of things. So give me as many likes as possible. I don't think this is a great piece of art, but again, it's just a doodle. It's a daily art challenge, as Inktober is a daily art challenge, and we have been doing this every single day through Inktober. I'm starting to get a bit worn out. Have you tell? My art's getting worse and worse as I carry on. If you have enjoyed it, don't forget to leave it like, go over to Instagram and click the links that will appear. Otherwise, thanks for watching. My name's been Blut084, BLUT084 Art and Games. Catch you later, and see you tomorrow for the next word and next day of Inktober.